I am Lily. I want to tell you my story. This is my life. It was not easy, but I am here now. I am calm when I speak about it. I am strong now. But before, I was very tired. I was afraid many times. I was a young mother. My baby was 6 months old. She was very small. She had soft hands. She had big eyes. She did not cry a lot. She was quiet, but she was sick. She could not drink normal milk. She could not eat baby food. Her body did not accept it. When she drank normal milk, she got sick. She cried. She had red spots on her legs. She had small wounds on her skin. Her legs were weak. She did not sleep well. The doctor told me something important. He said she needed special milk. Only one type of milk. This milk was not easy to find, and it was very expensive. Very expensive. I remember that day. I looked at the doctor. I felt cold inside. I did not have money. My husband Michael worked every day. He worked with trash. He collected plastic and paper. He separated bottles and cans. He worked under the sun. He worked under the rain. He came home tired, very tired. His hands were dirty. His back hurt, but he never stopped. He loved our baby. He loved me. But love was not money, and we needed money. The milk finished fast. One small can did not last long. I counted the days. I counted the hours. I was afraid when the milk was almost finished. I did not sleep well. I looked at my baby at night. I touched her small face. I asked myself, what can I do? I did not want to give up. I was her mother. She needed me. I did not have a good job. I stayed at home with her. But I wanted to help. So I started to sell small things. I sold candy. I sold gum. I sold peanuts in small plastic cups. I bought big packages at the supermarket. Then I divided them into small portions. I sold them on the street. I walked with my baby in my arms, or in a small stroller. I stood near buses. I stood near small shops. Some people bought from me. Some people looked at me and smiled. But many people did not smile. Some people laughed. Some people ignored me. Some people spoke bad words. They said I was lazy. They said I wanted easy money. They did not know my story. They did not know about the milk. They did not know about my baby's pain. Sometimes I felt small, very small. But when I looked at my baby, I felt strong again because she needed me. And I was not going to stop. Michael woke up very early every day. He left home before the sun was strong. He kissed our baby on the head. He kissed me on the cheek. He always said, "Be strong." I smiled, but my heart was heavy. Our house was very small. One room, one small kitchen, one small bathroom. The walls were old. When it rained, water came inside. The floor was cold. But it was our home. I cleaned the house every morning. I washed the clothes by hand. I prepared simple food, rice, beans, sometimes eggs, sometimes nothing more. My baby stayed close to me all the time. She could not stay alone. Her legs had small wounds. I cleaned them with warm water. She cried when I touched them. Her cry was soft, but it hurt my heart. I went to the health clinic many times. I waited for hours. I sat on a hard chair. I held her in my arms. Other mothers looked at me. Some asked questions. Some stayed quiet. The nurse knew me. She said, "You are here again." I said yes. She looked at my baby's legs. She gave me cream. She said, "Continue with the special milk." I nodded. But inside I felt fear. The milk was almost finished again. That afternoon I went to the supermarket. I had little money in my pocket. I bought one big package of peanuts. I bought gum. I bought small candies. I went home. I divided everything into small cups. I worked at the table for hours. My baby slept next to me. Her breathing was slow. I looked at her face. She looked peaceful when she slept. I touched her small hand. I spoke in a low voice. I will not fail you. In the evening, I went out to sell. I stood near the bus stop. People were coming home from work. Some were tired. Some were angry. Some did not see me, I said. Candy, gum, peanuts. My voice was soft at first. Then I spoke louder. A man looked at me and laughed. He said, "Go get a real job." I felt my face get hot, but I did not answer. A woman looked at my baby and said, "Why is she outside? She is too small." I wanted to say many things, but I stayed quiet. I just said, "She needs me." That night I sold a little, not much, but it was something. When I got home, Michael was already there. He sat on the floor. He looked tired. His shirt was dirty. He smiled when he saw us. "How was your day?" he asked. I sat next to him. I showed him the money. He counted it slowly. He looked at me. "We will buy the milk tomorrow," he said. I nodded. We did not speak for some minutes. We just sat there, in silence. But that silence was not empty. It was full of hope. The next morning was very cold. I woke up before my baby cried. The room was dark. I listened to her breathing, slow, soft. I felt calm for a moment. Then I remembered the milk. Only a little was left, very little. I stood up quietly. I prepared warm water. I mixed the last part of the special milk. I looked at the small bottle. I wished it was full, but it was almost empty. My baby opened her eyes. She looked at me. She did not smile. She was tired. I held her close. I gave her the bottle. She drank slowly. I watched every small movement. I was afraid she would cry, but she stayed calm. After she finished, I held her against my chest. I felt her small heart. I felt her warmth. I closed my eyes. Michael woke up soon after. He looked at me. He understood. He knew about the milk. He stood up fast. "I will work more today," he said. "I will stay longer." I nodded, but I did not want him to be more tired. He already worked too much. He left the house with fast steps. I stayed alone with my baby. The house was very quiet. I cleaned the small table. I washed the cups from yesterday. I looked at the empty milk can. I felt fear again. I put on my simple clothes. I put my baby in the stroller. I took the small bag with candy and gum. I walked to the center of the neighborhood. The sun was strong now. I stood near a bakery. The smell of fresh bread was in the air. People walked fast. Some talked on the phone. Some carried bags. I said, "Candy, gum, peanuts." A young girl stopped. She bought 1 cup of peanuts. She smiled at my baby. "She is beautiful," she said. I smiled back. "Thank you," I answered. That small moment gave me strength. But not everyone was kind. 2 boys walked past me. One of them said, "Why don't you stay home?" They laughed. I looked at the ground. I felt small again, but I did not cry. I could not cry. I had no time for that. I needed to sell. Time passed slowly. The sun moved in the sky. My baby started to cry. Her legs were red again. I touched them gently. She cried more. People looked at me. Some looked with pity. Some looked with anger. One woman said, "This is not a place for a baby." I wanted to say, "This is the only place I have." But I stayed quiet. I sat on a small bench. I held my baby close. I rocked her slowly. I whispered soft words. "It is okay. Mama is here." She cried for some minutes. Then she became quiet. Her eyes were wet. My heart was heavy. I looked at the sky. I asked myself again, how long can we live like this? But I did not stop. I stood up again. I lifted my head. I spoke louder this time. Candy, gum, peanuts. That afternoon, I sold more than usual, not a lot, but more than yesterday. I counted the money many times. I was afraid to lose even one coin. When the sun started to go down, I went to the pharmacy. The special milk was there. I looked at the price. My hands felt cold. It was still very expensive. I gave the money to the woman at the counter. She counted it slowly. She looked at me. "You were short," she said. I felt my face burn. "How much?" I asked. She told me the number. It was not a big number, but for me it was big, very big. I opened my small bag again. I searched inside. I found 2 more coins. I put them on the counter. She looked again. She shook her head. Still not enough. I felt tears in my eyes. I tried to stay calm. "My baby needs this milk," I said. My voice was low. She looked at my baby. My baby was quiet. Her eyes looked tired. The woman at the counter stayed silent for a moment. Then she said, "Wait." She called another worker. They spoke in low voices. I did not understand everything. I waited. My heart was beating fast. After a minute, she came back. "You can pay the rest next week," she said. I did not believe her at first. "Really?" I asked. She nodded. I felt something warm inside my chest. "Thank you," I said. "Thank you so much." I took the milk in my hands. It felt heavy, but it felt like hope. I walked home fast. I did not want to waste time. When I arrived, Michael was already there. He looked worried. He stood up when he saw me. "Did you get it?" he asked. I showed him the milk. He closed his eyes. He took a deep breath. "Thank God," he said. "We did not have much food for us, but we had milk for our baby." That night, I prepared the bottle carefully. My hands were slow and careful. I gave the bottle to my baby. She drank. She did not cry. She did not push it away. She drank everything. I felt calm. Michael sat next to me. He touched her small head. "We will find a way," he said. I looked at him. "How?" I asked. He did not answer. He just held my hand. After my baby slept, we talked in a low voice. Michael said, "I can collect more plastic at night." I shook my head. "You are already tired," I said. He looked at the floor. "We need more money," he answered. I stayed quiet for some seconds. Then I said something new. "I want to study again." He looked at me with surprise. "Study?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "I stopped school before. I want to finish. I want a better job one day." He did not laugh. He did not say it was impossible. He just listened. "Will you have time?" he asked. "I will find time," I said. "I can study at night. I can study when she sleeps." He looked at our baby. Then he looked at me. "If you want this," he said, "I will support you." His words were simple, but they were strong. That night I did not sleep much. But for the first time in a long time, my heart felt different. Not only fear, not only pain. There was something else. A small light inside me. The next week was very busy. I started to look for information about school. I asked a neighbor. I asked a woman at the clinic. I asked at a small public office. Some people did not answer me well. Some people said, "It is hard." Some people said, "You have a baby." But one woman gave me a paper. She said, "There is a night class. It is free. You can try." I held that paper like it was gold. I went home and showed it to Michael. He read it slowly. He smiled. "This is good," he said. "It is not far from here." Classes started at 7 in the evening. My baby usually slept at that time. But sometimes she cried. Sometimes she had pain. I was afraid. What if she needed me? What if Michael could not calm her? but I wanted to try. The first day of class came. I felt nervous, very nervous. I wore my cleanest clothes. I tied my hair back. I kissed my baby many times. I told Michael everything. The milk is here. The cream is on the table. If she cries, hold her like this. He smiled. I know, he said. Go study. I walked to school with fast steps. The classroom was simple. Old chairs, a small board on the wall. There were other adults there. Some were young, some were older. Some looked tired like me. The teacher came in, she smiled. She said her name. She spoke clearly. She did not speak fast. I felt calm. She gave us simple exercises. Reading, writing, basic math. I felt slow at first. My hand moved slowly with the pencil, but I did not stop. I listened carefully. I wrote every word. When class finished, I ran home. My heart was fast. When I opened the door, I heard my baby crying. My chest hurt. Michael was holding her. She missed you, he said. I took her in my arms. She stopped crying after some minutes. I felt guilty, but I also felt proud. I did something for our future. The days passed. I studied every night when my baby slept. I opened my notebook. My eyes were tired. My body was tired, but my mind was awake. Sometimes I fell asleep on the table. Sometimes I woke up and continued. Michael watched me quietly. One night he said, "You are strong." I smiled. "I am just a mother," I answered. During the day, I still sold candy. I still heard bad words. I still felt small in front of some people. But inside, something was changing. When someone laughed at me, I thought, they do not know my plans. When someone said I would not grow, I thought, they do not see my notebook at night. I started to feel different, not bigger, not rich, but stronger. My baby still had wounds on her legs. I cleaned them every day. I used the cream. Slowly, very slowly, they started to look better. She smiled more. She looked at me with bright eyes. Sometimes she touched my face. Those small moments gave me energy. I knew the road was long. I knew it was not easy, but I was walking it, step by step. Weeks passed. Life was still hard, but now I had a routine. In the morning, I stayed with my baby. I cleaned the house. I prepared simple food. I checked her legs. I gave her the special milk. At noon, I prepared the candy and peanuts. In the afternoon, I went out to sell. In the evening, I came home. At night, I went to school. Then I studied again after class. Every day was full, very full. Sometimes I felt my body shake. Sometimes I felt dizzy, but I did not stop. One day something happened. It was very hot outside. The sun was strong. I stood near the bus stop again. My baby was in the stroller. She was quiet at first. Then she started to cry. Not a soft cry, a strong cry. Her face was red. Her legs looked worse again. The skin was open in some places. I felt panic, real panic. I touched her legs. She cried more. People looked at me. A woman said, "Take her home." A man said, "She needs a doctor." I felt my hands shake. I packed my things fast. I walked quickly to the clinic. I did not care about selling anymore. I just walked. At the clinic, I waited again. Long minutes. My baby cried in my arms. I whispered to her, "It is okay. Mama is here." When the doctor saw her, he looked serious. He asked about the milk. I told him we were giving it every day. He asked about the cream. I said yes. He looked at me. "You must be careful," he said. "She is very sensitive." He gave me new instructions. He said I had to keep her skin very clean. He said I needed another type of cream. The new cream was also expensive. I felt tired, very tired. When I left the clinic, I sat on a bench outside. My baby was sleeping now. Her face was calm again, but I was not calm. I felt weak. I looked at my hands. They were dry. They were tired. I asked myself, am I doing enough? I thought about school. I thought about selling. I thought about Michael working with trash. For a moment, I wanted to stop everything. I wanted to stay home. I wanted to hide from the world. But then my baby moved in my arms. She opened her eyes. She looked at me. She did not know about money. She did not know about pain. She only knew my face. She trusted me. And that trust gave me strength again. I stood up. I went to the pharmacy. I asked the price of the new cream. It was high, very high. I did not have enough money that day, so I went home. When Michael arrived, I told him everything. He stayed silent for some seconds. Then he said, "Tomorrow I will start earlier, and I will collect more." I looked at him. His face was serious. I felt love and pain at the same time. We were both fighting the same storm, but we were still standing, and we were not alone. The next days were heavy, very heavy. Michael left home before the sun came up. He came back after dark. His hands were more tired. His back hurt more, but he did not complain. I tried to sell more every afternoon. I walked farther. I stood in new places. Some days were good. Some days were very bad. One evening, I counted the money on the table. There were many small coins, not many bills. I counted again. I counted slowly. I looked at Michael. "We still need more," I said. He nodded. He did not look angry. He looked calm. But I saw the worry in his eyes. That night, after school, I stayed awake longer. I looked at my notebook. The teacher spoke about an exam. A big exam it was for a public job. She said if you pass this exam, you can work for the city. It is stable. It has a salary every month. When she said that, my heart moved. A stable salary every month, not coins, not fear, every week. I raised my hand. "Can I try?" I asked. She smiled. "Yes, anyone can try." I walked home that night with new thoughts. The sky was dark. The street was quiet. I felt afraid, not of people, but of the dream. It felt too big, too far from my reality. When I arrived home, Michael was sitting on the floor. My baby was sleeping. I sat next to him. "There is an exam," I said. He listened. I explained everything. He looked at me for a long time. "Do you want this?" he asked. "Yes," I answered. "Very much." He took a deep breath. "Then you will try," he said. "What if I fail?" I asked. "Then you try again," he answered. His voice was simple, but strong. The next weeks were different. I studied more. Every free minute, I studied. While my baby slept, I studied. While she played on the floor, I read my notes. While the rice cooked, I repeated information in my mind. I did not understand everything at first. Some topics were hard. Math was difficult. But I asked questions in class. I stayed after the lesson. The teacher helped me. She said, "You are very dedicated." I smiled. I did not say why. I did not talk about the milk. I did not talk about the wounds. I just studied. At the same time, my baby slowly got better. The new cream helped. The wounds were not as open as before. She started to move her legs more. She laughed sometimes. Her laugh was soft, but it filled the room. Every time she laughed, I felt my dream grow stronger. The exam day came. I woke up very early. My hands were cold. I felt sick in my stomach. Michael held my hand. "You're ready," he said. I kissed my baby. She looked at me with big eyes. I walked to the exam place. Many people were there. They looked serious. They looked confident. I felt small again, but I did not turn back. I sat at the desk. The paper was in front of me. I took a deep breath. I thought about the milk. I thought about the coins. I thought about my baby's legs, and I began to write. The exam was long, very long. The room was silent. I could hear my own breathing. I read each question slowly. Some questions were easy, some were not easy. I felt my heart beat fast, but I did not rush. I remembered the nights at the table. I remembered the pencil in my hand. I remembered falling asleep on my notebook. I kept writing. I checked my answers one more time. Then I gave the paper to the teacher. When I walked outside, my legs felt weak. I did not know if I did well. I did not know if I failed. But I knew one thing. I tried, and that mattered. The results would come in 1 month. One long month, life continued. I still sold candy. I still counted coins. Michael still worked with trash, but something inside me was different. I felt more calm. I felt proud. Not because I passed. I did not know yet, but because I faced my fear. One afternoon, while I was selling near the bakery, the same man who laughed at me before walked by. He looked at me again. He smiled in a strange way. I did not look down this time. I looked straight ahead. I did not feel small anymore. I felt steady. That evening, when I came home, I saw an envelope on the table. It had my name on it. My hand started to shake. Michael stood next to me. He did not speak. He waited. I opened the envelope slowly. I looked at the paper. The words were simple, but they changed my life. Approved. I read it again. Approved. I felt my knees become weak. I sat down on the floor. Michael asked, "What does it say?" I looked at him. Tears came to my eyes. "I passed," I said. "I passed." He covered his face with his hands. Then he laughed. Then he cried. He hugged me tight, very tight. Our baby started to cry because of the noise. We both laughed. I picked her up. I held her close. "We did it," I whispered. "Not alone. Together." The new job started 2 months later. It was not easy at first. I had to learn many things. I had responsibility. People listened when I spoke. They waited for my decision. It felt strange. I was the woman who sold peanuts on the street. Now I worked at a desk. I had clean clothes. I had a badge with my name. Every month, I received a salary. Not coins, a real salary. The first thing I did was buy the milk. Not one can, many cans. I put them in the kitchen. I looked at them and smiled. Then I bought all the cream the doctor recommended. Slowly, my baby's legs healed. The wounds closed. Her skin became soft. She started to walk when she was older. She started to run. She went to a good private school. One day, years later, she said, "Mom, I want to go to college." I looked at her. I remembered the street. I remembered the coins. "Yes," I said, "you will go." We paid for her education. Without fear, without shame. Sometimes I walk past the bus stop. I see women selling candy. I see tired faces. I remember who I was. I remember the storm. The storm was strong, but we survived. If you are listening now and your life feels hard, remember this. Step by step, slowly, do not stop. Thank you for listening to my story. If you liked this story, please subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment and tell me what you felt, and come back to listen to more stories. You are not alone. Years passed. My life became more stable, but I never forgot the past. Every morning I woke up early, not because I was afraid, but because I was grateful. I prepared breakfast in a clean kitchen. I looked at the milk on the shelf. I always kept extra. I never wanted to feel that fear again. My daughter grew strong, her legs healed completely, the wounds disappeared. Only small marks remained, but they did not hurt anymore. When she was old enough, she asked me, "Mom, why do you work so hard?" I looked at her. I smiled. "Because I love you," I said. She did not remember the clinic. She did not remember the crying in the sun. She did not remember the coins on the table. But I remembered everything. One afternoon, I visited the old neighborhood. I walked past the small house. The walls were still old. The door was still small. But I felt no shame. I felt respect. That house saw my fight. It saw my tears. It saw my strength. I walked to the old bus stop. I stood there for a moment. I closed my eyes. I could almost hear myself saying, "Candy, gum, peanuts." I opened my eyes again. The street was the same, but I was different. That night I told my daughter the truth. I told her about the milk. I told her about the wounds. I told her about the exam. She listened in silence. Then she hugged me. "You are my hero," she said. I shook my head. "I am just your mother," I answered. But inside I felt proud. Not proud of money, not proud of position, but proud that I did not stop. The storm in my life was strong. It brought fear, it brought pain, it brought shame, but it also brought courage. It brought love, it brought hope. If you are listening to me now and your life feels like a storm, remember something simple. Storms do not stay forever. They pass slowly, step by step. You may feel tired. You may feel small. But small steps every day can change everything. I was once a woman selling peanuts on the street. Today, I make decisions at work. Today, I help other families. Today, I stand tall, not because I am better, but because I survived. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe to the channel. Write a comment and tell me what you think. And come back for more simple English stories. We learn step by step. We grow step by step. And together, we survive every storm. Tonight, I sit at my table. The room is quiet. My daughter is studying in her room. Michael is reading the news. The house is calm. I look around and breathe slowly. I remember the nights when I felt afraid. I remember the empty milk can. I remember the coins on the table. Now the table is clean. There is food in the kitchen. There is light in every room. But I never forget the past. The past made me strong. Sometimes my daughter asks, "Mom, were you ever scared?" I smile, "Yes." I say many times, "Were you ever tired?" "Yes," I say again, "very tired." "Did you want to stop?" I look at her. "Yes," I answer softly. But I did not stop. She listens carefully. She knows now that life is not always easy. She knows that love is not only words. Love is action. Love is effort. Love is staying when things are hard. Michael sometimes says, "We were very young." I nod. "Yes, but we were strong." We talk about the old days. We laugh about some moments. We remember how small our house was. We remember how hot the street was. We remember the clinic chairs. But we also remember the hope. Hope was small at first. Very small. Like a little light. But we protected it. We did not let it die. If you are listening now, maybe you feel like I felt. Maybe you are tired. Maybe you are worried about money. Maybe you are afraid for someone you love. I want to tell you something simple. You are not weak. You are human. You can feel fear and still move forward. You can feel tired and still try again. One step, then another step. That is how change begins. My story is not about being perfect. It is about not giving up. It is about studying at night when your eyes hurt. It is about standing in the sun when people laugh. It is about loving your child more than your pride. Now my daughter prepares for college. She studies hard. She dreams big dreams. And I look at her with peace in my heart, because I know something. The storm did not win. We survived. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed this simple English story, please subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment and tell us what you learned. Come back for more calm and easy stories. We will continue learning together, slowly, clearly, step by step.